First, before I even do that, I just thought it'd be a really good recap to just say like, hey, when we're talking about vitamins, like what the shit are they? Like, are they calorie containing? A lot of people might not be so sure or certain of what a vitamin specifically refers to. So this very first slide, you probably recognize, I can't remember which episode I would have referenced this in, but there's two main classes, macro and micro. Macro contains calories, so they are energy bearing, right? You can actually gain weight from consuming those. Micronutrients do not have any calories, no energy, but they do perform some very, very essential roles in the body. So when it comes to energy and growth, those will come from your macronutrients. When it comes to other processes within your metabolism or specific things that are happening, oftentimes there are vitamins and minerals, maybe even macronutrients that are lending towards that process to happen. So if you have um, enough vitamins and minerals, that process will happen as normal. If you don't have enough, it might not happen, or it might happen at a slower rate. All right. So pretty easy. There's a little diagram here in a bit that'll show you like where or what processes certain vitamins or certain minerals might help with. But main thing you need to know is they help with metabolism. And metabolism is a big, broad word, right? It's not really specific. There are a million and one things going on in your body at any given time. Oftentimes, vitamins and minerals are just helping facilitate those, kind of catalyzing them, if you will. So vitamins versus minerals, right? Oftentimes those end up getting grouped together. Like if you're taking a multivitamin, I'm pretty sure almost all of them contain minerals. So they are quite similar, but at the same time there are some major differences. I'll focus on vitamins to start. And when you hear about vitamins, you've probably heard about this. If you're taking a multivitamin, most people taking a multi are relatively educated on the topic. So you've probably heard fat soluble versus water soluble. So this is the first differentiation to make when we're talking about a vitamin, right? Vitamins, actually, let's go there first. The definition of a vitamin: organic substances that participate in some sort of metabolism. All right, it's basically a carbon containing structure or compound. Can be found all over the place. The fat soluble vitamins require fat or some sort of emulsification to get transported across the membrane and absorbed into the body. Fat soluble. Here's a few examples. If you're taking a multi, you've probably seen this abbreviated just as ADEK, or that's a pretty common acronym that people use to remember the fat soluble ones, because typically these are the ones that are a little more not important, but there's a few particular rules around these as opposed, not rules, nuances, I guess, to these as opposed to water soluble. So water soluble, again, is pretty much the rest outside of ADEK. You've probably heard of many of these. Most of them are in like the B vitamin family. And to get transported across the membrane or to get absorbed, all you need is water, a solution of water and whatever this vitamin is. All right. So again, if you are a multivitamin taker and you've read the back label, you've probably seen consume with food. And that is because these vitamins specifically, and certain minerals or certain other substances, require an emulsification or a fatty acid or a cholesterol to actually be absorbed with. So if there's no fat being taken in with these vitamins, your body is going to be unable to actually absorb them and therefore use them. Okay, fat soluble. The one nuance that comes with these is that the fat soluble ones can then become a little more dangerous, or you just need to be a little more careful around them. It's because they can actually get stored in fat. So it's a little bit easier to overdose on fat soluble. When it's water soluble, it's really easy to just flush out through pee. When it's fat soluble and it gets stored with fat, that's where like our upper limits can actually get reached.
What do you mean by overdose here?
So overdose, I might have misspoke. I misspoke there. I'm going to say upper limit, and I'll try to define that
Sure.
as well. So when it comes to any vitamin or mineral or any substance, there is an upper limit that's associated with adverse effects, right? You can have too much, right? It's not just good until the cows come home. You can't just have buckets and buckets of a certain substance. Eventually, you might hit a threshold or a certain amount where we start to see bad things happen, right?
Okay.
So we'll have there's a few different ways that I don't that the FDA tries to classify this. Again,
Mm-hmm.
usually 80 EK are the most common culprits when it comes to hitting your upper limit or going over it and then having adverse effects happen because they are harder to get rid of, right? Because sometimes you can
Gotcha.
just fully store them in your fat. So yeah, overdose, not so much per se, but there's an upper limit where if you're absorbing too much into your actual body, then we can see some bad things happen.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you. Good question. So yeah, water soluble, a lot easier to just kind of flush out and get rid of as opposed to the fat soluble ones. So here's just a quick overview of where a lot of these vitamins go to serve functions, right? They go and help with a lot of things, with your bones, with your actual, like when people think of metabolism, this is what they think of is energy metabolism. But technically, the pathway down to helping bone health is like metabolism. The pathway to growth is metabolism. The pathway to red blood cell formation is metabolism, right? This is kind of the main hallmark of what people think of when they hear metabolism. So vitamins are in helping in a lot of areas. So I don't want to come away from this sounding like I have a negative view on vitamins. I think that might be what people have taken away previously as we've referenced them. They are definitely beneficial and helpful to do a lot of things in the human body. A lot, all over the place. Minerals, very similar to vitamins. I think like for like all intents and purposes, you can pretty much consider them the same. Uh, I've remember them as like minerals are usually more elemental. Like a vitamin is some sort of compound, a carbon containing compound, and a mineral is oftentimes like a full blown like physical element, like calcium, like iron, things like that. And again, there's going to be recommendations and upper limits for minerals, right? We had two classifications for minerals at the start there. You had major and trace. Major was just saying if you require more than 100 milligrams, it's considered a major mineral. If it's less than that, we consider it a trace mineral. So there's a few different categories for vitamins and minerals and kind of like the roles that they might play. So again, minerals all over the place here. Lots of touches all over the place, helping out big time. So very important that you have adequate vitamins and minerals. Now, the big question then is like how the heck do we determine that or how do we measure that? So when you see like a food label or maybe you're tracking your calories or maybe you see some sort of layout or recommendation of how much of a certain thing you should be getting, it's a little bit convoluted. We've got a whole bunch of terms to actually like try to display or to try to really say what you need to get or how much somebody should be getting. So when you're looking at food labels or when you're looking at recommendations or multivitamin bottles, you might see any, like a percentage related to any of these. Most often it will be over here, RDA or adequate intake. So these are terms that the FDA uses to try to translate exactly how much you should be getting and how much you or if you go too far, right? So this upper limit, you'll see it as a UL. That's the tolerable upper limit intake. I shouldn't have said overdose. It's just where we like to see the maximum, right? So the roof of how much you're getting. So typically when we're talking about food and minerals and vitamins specifically, we're going to focus on RDAs and adequate intakes. So the RDA is the daily allowance, right? The big problem here is like the data for this stuff is kind of like convoluted and dispersed all over the place. So it's really tough to actually sit down and say, hey, you should be getting this much of vitamin A, this much of vitamin B, this much C, this much D. So when we do have a decent amount of data to back up, it's considered an RDA, and that is speaking to the general population. I probably should have prefaced this right at the very start. All the statements I'm going to make are to the general quote unquote healthy population, right? Not somebody with a specific deficiency or a specific condition or a specific disease. And then adequate intake, nutrient levels that are assumed adequate, right? We're almost guessing, honestly, at that point. We're assuming that it's adequate because we don't have enough data to actually say, hey, for most people, this should be the RDA. So a lot of these are kind of like guesses. And then your upper limit, this is when we do have like a pretty notable adverse effect that happens if you consume too much. And then you'll see, hey, don't have more than 1,000 milligrams of this per day or per serving or whatever it might be. You might also see some of these. These are usually in reference to calories or macronutrient containing. AMDR, EER, estimated energy requirement, estimated average requirement. This one you might see oftentimes EAR, estimated average. And the other thing to take note of is that the values that you see, we'll go look at a few values in a little bit here, are averages. It's not, hey, if you didn't hit 100 milligrams exactly today, you're screwed for the day. It's an average that we should be shooting for. Now we can kind of try to make an analogy here with calories, right? If you get too many calories in one day, it's okay to go a little bit under the next day and kind of zoom out and look at a weekly average, right? A moving average or a monthly. Now, vitamins and minerals, you probably want to make sure you're around a weekly average, but again, people get really hung up in specifics and being perfect here where they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't get 1,000 milligrams of vitamin D. I need to go take a couple tabs to make sure I hit that. And we're looking at all of this data, all of these recommendations are being translated from averages. All right, this is a pretty important note to make. So this is what a food label looks like. I'm sure everyone has seen it. When you see percentages here, I'm not sure if you can see all the way zoomed in here, but you'll probably on the back of a food label, they'll give you a percentage when it comes to certain vitamins and minerals. And sometimes that's based off the RDA. Sometimes that's based off the AI. Sometimes it's based off of another value. Usually, if it's available, they will shoot to base it off the RDA.
Where are they getting that information from? Right?
That's yeah. So that's FDA data, and I think they do a pretty good job of distilling those values.
Okay.
But it's also like shooting for the recommended training numbers, right? So when we get down to the end here at like kind of what's recommended, it's like this is what's recommended for kind of like good or optimal outcomes. Is it necessary to maintain? Like you definitely want to make sure you have all the components necessary for promoting health, right? But I think like when people get hung up on specific values of a specific vitamin, it just starts to take away from kind of like what's going on. Similar to when we prescribe exercise, it's like, hey, you need to be doing 5 days a week of cardio, 3 days a week of lifting, getting this like this many minutes of it starts to kind of you start to lose the forest for the trees. It just starts to get convoluted, right? So those values, we'll get down to like some of the actual ones here, but it's really tough to get down to an actual number from like randomized control trials. It's like, well, we had like 50,000 people in this trial, ages 20 to 50. Like who knows what the heck they were doing day in and day out. We did have them take this, like pretty certainly most of the time, right? So it's a lot messier than a lot of these bottom line numbers make it. And then I think one of the big problems that is created is people take that bottom line number and they're like, holy smokes, if I don't get 1,000 IUs or 10,000 milligrams of this, I'm going to be unhealthy or I'm going to be in trouble. And that is just not necessarily the case. So I do say that vitamins and minerals obviously extremely like essential. You need them to live. You need them to carry out some of these processes. Do we need to supplement them? That is a much bigger and more loaded question. So here, really quickly, I'll go through, just scroll through some of these, right? You can go look these up. They're on the FDA. So a lot of people might say like the FDA sucks at compiling data like this. You might have a point there. I think it's really, really tough to compile like this much data and then break it all the way down to some sort of RDA or
just men
adequate,
and women, where the
right?
weight range on those men and women are going to be so
Yeah.
wildly different,
Oh,
especially these
absolutely.
days, right? That's
Mhm.
obviously something that's a big deal too.
Absolutely. Their physical activity level is a huge one. Their diet composition is a huge one, right? So this is saying 900 micrograms total, not 900 micrograms from a vitamin A pill, 900 micrograms total, right? From all sources that you're consuming, whether it be drink, food, supplement, you name it. So you can go find these readily. This is all FDA data, and it's pretty darn good. I'm not gonna like sit over here and say like, hey, if you go a year without hitting these, like you're gonna be in serious trouble. I don't know. That's probably not even the case, but I do think they are helpful, and they do some good. So another, again, just like tables upon tables here of kind of like what we're suggesting or what is being suggested as an RDA or an adequate intake, as well as upper limits, especially alongside certain vitamins and minerals that are known with having adverse effects at certain levels. All right. So what this kind of leads to is like if you wanted to distill this down into like I think like actionable advice or like actionable points, is that it's probably a good idea to follow a healthy eating pattern over the lifespan. Now, yeah, we could try to like discuss what healthy eating pattern means. I think the generic understanding of what that means is probably good enough. Focusing on variety, nutrient dense foods is probably a good idea. Limiting calories from added sugars and saturated fats and reducing sodium is probably a good idea. Shifting to healthier food and beverage choices, probably a good idea. Support healthy eating patterns for all. Overall, I think if you engage in these, you're probably going to hit most of your targets, or at least get close enough to these targets that you will have good outcomes and you won't be lacking to the point of having adverse outcomes. So I plugged in a few. So we'll mess around with a few different foods in here, but I put in just chicken breast, white rice, and spinach, and not too much of it. So this is if you're eating chicken and rice and spinach for every single meal, right? A lot of people might think, holy smokes, that you will be deficient on that. If you go and look at what we're hitting here, we're getting pretty darn close. And so this is Chronometer. This is one of the app tracking ones that we looked back in the day. Again, they're aggregating this data and using mainly RDAs, in some case, adequate intakes, right?
Okay.
Across the board here, for the most part, I think it's getting close enough to being like I would say. So this is my guess. Like I'm not a dietitian, right? I think did Sandy say she was actually a dietitian? Because I'm not sure like if she did or maybe she
In our
was.
chat today?
I can't
No, she
remember.
didn't say
She
anything
might
about
have been
activity.
dietitian or she might have been something else in that line.
Maybe she was a nurse or something. I can't remember.
Anyways, I think if you were within like a standard deviation or two of the average here, you're not going to see like it's not going to present itself in an adverse way. So for example, like what do we have here at 50%? And B12, right? B12 here is hitting 51% of the RDA. I do not believe that if you continue to consume a diet that's hitting 50% of B12 I do not believe that will lead to adverse effects. There might be specific cases where it can, but on the average, I don't think it does. Right. So a lot of these are great targets and great averages. That's I think one of the biggest misleading things is that with like these RDAs and these AIs is that they're developed off of averages for the like 20 to it's the average of what was the number there? 98, like not that's good for 95 to 98% of people of a healthy, quote unquote, healthy population. So there's just like the standard deviation might be so huge on a lot of these that it's like if we're getting 56% day in and day out, like that could be fine for a lot of individuals.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think this is a perfect diet by any means. It was just a really limited one.
Oh, of
Like
course.
when I think of somebody like eating extremely like mundane food day in and day out, chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breasts, white rice, spinach, and we're hitting these kinds of values, right? Almost everything, like calcium is a bit low. Calcium is, I would say, a pretty important one. Like a lot of these have, I would say, a lot more impact than others. Oh, we just got oh, did you see this most recent comment?
Yeah, I just responded.
Richard. Rip.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you could humble me on this quick.
Sure.
Throw in like 2 pieces of
Yeah, let's
pizza
do it.
for me, a large Coca-Cola. Give me a second. I'm just trying to like articulate every person I've ever worked with and what they've ate, and try to give you the most generic ones that I see the most when I first start
Cool.
with people.
How do I
Let's do 2 pieces of pizza for dinner, a large Coke.
Coke or Diet Coke?
Just do normal Coke for
Reggie?
now. Yeah.
Reggie Coke?
Yeah.
This is a full ass pizza, so maybe let's go with half a pizza. What'd you say, two slices or?
Yeah, do like 0.25 for now. Whatever equates out to be like 2,200 calories for the day. Let's do that.
Okay, so this is
Let's
one meal at 700 calories so far.
Yep, and then let's do, because I'm gonna go off of a weekend.
Okay.
Let's do brunch. Let's do. Oh, actually, you know what? What would be a normal day? I'm really trying to rack my brain right now to give you the mean, which is very difficult.
Okay.
For lunch, let's do tuna sandwich, 3 cookies.
Tuna salad sandwich, tuna melt, tuna salad.
Do tuna melt.
Tuna melt.
Sounds really good right now, actually. And then
Some cookies.
Yeah, cookies.
Or how about some Oreos?
Yeah, that works. Do like 10 of them. Do like 400 or 500 calories worth.
10 cookies. 5 cookies. How about 268 calories? Or do you think 10?
Do 10. Oh yeah.
You think 10's the average? For the
I'll make this quick. The average person I talk to is eating 2,800 to 3,000 calories on average daily without realizing it, because the majority of my people lose weight starting, almost irregardless of weight range, dude. It's weird.
Wow.
They typically lose weight pretty easily on 2,000 to 2,100 calories a day, give or take, right around there.
Okay.
So that means they're certainly around probably at 2,600 and up, 2,600 and up. Okay, and then lastly, let's do.
We're at 1,700 calories consumed so far.
Okay. Lastly, let's do chips and dip.
Chips and dip. Some chips, like just potato chips.
Whatever they would dip it in. So what kind of chips people usually? I'm not even a chip person.
Like maybe rough, like those wavy ruffle chips.
Yeah, do Ruffles. That's good. And then we'll do like some ranch dressing. Or something like that. Do like 300-400 calories worth.
350. And yeah. I do know a great dip. I'll bet you it's in here. Hell of a good dip. Come on. It ain't here. And if you're, oh, it is here. Yeah, buddy. I think it's a sour cream based dip. Anyways, if you are into chips and dip, this is a freaking unreal dip. 2 tablespoons. We're gonna double that. 4 tablespoons at least. Actually, maybe even triple that. 6 tablespoons. All right, so now we're at just about 2,200 calories. We got chips and dip. We got cookies. We got a Sando. We got some pizza. We got a Coke.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got for just for that. Let's just see.
All right.
And see if there's any vitamins and minerals there that are actually pretty low or deficient that you'd qualify as like potentially in the lower end, and see what we hit pretty well and easily.
All right, so vitamins off the start. So this isn't every vitamin, but these are the ones that are usually the easiest to grab, like from this nutritional info. The first one, like this honestly doesn't raise any flags to me. B5 being at 54%, A being at 61, maybe. This is the first one that I'm like, maybe we should address this. Vitamin C and vitamin D are 20% and lower. And then other than that, potassium is low, 48%. Zinc is 51%.
in protein too.
I
That's
don't
pretty
even
common.
know. Yeah, it's very common to see protein like that. Hey.
Yeah. Yep.
Magnesium is kind of low. Again, if there's a specific condition and I see this, I'm like
Mhm.
maybe, then I'll be like, yo, like go talk to your, like go get some blood work, or I don't know. But if they're in like a relative, like a general pop healthy person,
Yeah.
I see this and I'm like, that's not bad. You are like,
Now,
if this is the average, like you're hitting most, like in a pretty decent way. This isn't perfect, obviously, but
yeah.
the whole idea that I guess I'm trying to challenge here is that a lot of people think that if we're not hitting, like let's say for potassium, right? Potassium says this is for me, right? Because I think it's based off me being 180 pounds. It says
Yeah.
my daily target, and this is an adequate intake, right? So using Chronometer, I can actually go and look, and I know an adequate intake is in the absence of having an RDA. We have an RDA when we actually have enough data to suggest that 95 to 98% of like the general healthy population, this should be the RDA on average. So this isn't even an RDA, which just gives me even less confidence in saying like, holy smokes, we need to up that, right? It
Yeah.
might be a place to look at and say, hey, we're kind of low there, but this is an AI adequate intake level, and we're already at 50% there. So is it going to be bad if we stay at 50%? I don't know. I don't think so. Could it be? Maybe. I can't like
Sure. That makes
rationalize
sense.
like what reason it could be bad. Uh, D, I could try to rationalize here. Like D is low enough at 19%. We have an adequate intake. Again, we don't, what does D have an RDA? These guys have
Probably somewhere in between. There's probably like 1,000 IU, maybe
right. So
1,500.
here again, they're listing an AI and an upper limit because D in particular, you can have too much of, and it can lead to adverse effects.
Yeah.
So if I'm over here sitting at 19% of an AI, is that a bad thing? Again, I'm not really ready to call it bad because
Sure.
I don't know what it's going to do that is bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to like
And I
see, like if there is a pattern, because obviously like I'm not an MD. I'm curious what the MDs are looking for then to say, hey, you are very deficient in this and this, which typically is coming about, in my opinion, from this is a typical diet in general, to be frank. Like this is pretty normal, or even potentially less calories from nutrient. Like we picked a
mm,
tuna melt, which has got dairy in it, it's got some protein in it. Typically it's not even that. It's typically more
yeah,
of a carb base. So I
yeah,
would say this is on the higher end, but it kind of, to your point, is showing that most of the multivitamins can be hit pretty adequately, even on a shittier diet.
yeah,
But I'm trying to see if there is an underlying pattern in what MDs are looking for when they say, yeah, this, to the low end of the AI that we're seeing typically in many obese Americans is why they're recommending supplementing vitamin D in the
hmm
1,000 to 2,000 IU category. And if they do say anything else, it's like multivitamin just to cap everything else off. Better be safe than sorry. But with a shitty diet like this, you're hitting, like you said, most of them. It's just really one or two that, because if you scroll over vitamin C and vitamin D real quick, do vitamin D first because it shows the normal foods. Like to the left where it shows the actual word, vitamin D. Yeah. So it says fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, egg yolks, fortified milk.
hmm
So things Americans never eat.
yeah, yeah,
Things
true.
Americans never eat. And
Yeah,
it's just because it's the pattern I've been seeing, man, like over the past 4 or 5 years. It's like always never getting enough sunlight, never outside being active, and not having a balanced diet. So if you take maybe 3 to 4 years of having 19% of your daily intake or adequate intake, maybe that is why that's coming up. And to your point, MDs aren't recommending daily multivitamins because they understand that most of this shit's getting taken in already. No problem.
hmm yeah, I think the average, like even the average diet, like average American diet, average like even just like developed world diet hits more than I think a lot of people think. And like that paired with like this overweighing of like importance of like meeting X amount of IUs or milligrams or micrograms kind of just like creates this general idea that if you're not hitting the RDA, it's a bad thing or it's unhealthy or it's going to lead to bad health outcomes. And it's just not, yeah, it just hasn't shown to be the case. the RDAs have shown to be like a good thing. Like, hey, if you get this much, it looks good. If you get this much, it looks good.
Yeah,
if you get too
that's a
much, it
fair
looks
point.
bad. If we're a standard deviation or two away from that average that we're recommending, is a bad thing going to happen? In vitamin D, like vitamin D is extremely important in facilitating calcium utilization. So when you have too much of it, you can have too much calcium in the blood, which is really, really bad. When you have too little of it, it can be tough to like to actually utilize calcium.
Gotcha.
Calcium is like one of the most important things when it comes to your, without calcium, like you can't move. Your body ceases to move. So calcium is absolutely essential, which means vitamin D is absolutely essential. It's like the meat of the argument there comes down to like, is 20% of this AI that's been derived from some research data, is, if we're at 20% of that value for a week or a year, let's say, is that bad? I think in some people it could lead to bad outcomes, and in others
Yeah.
it might not. So it's,
Mm.
yeah, it's a lot messier, I think, than like a lot of these RDAs and AIs make it look or make it seem.
Yeah, no, that's totally. And I'm only playing like devil's advocate here to see
No,
like,
fair enough. Like that is
because it
that's
is all over the place, man. Like it's like, well, then we could just essentially tell nobody to supplement anything because we, even with the worst diet possible in America, we've typically only seen the same issues with high blood pressure, diabetes, and you know, and hypertension, heart disease. So
mm-hmm,
if those are really still the main three things that are coming from poor food choices, we'll call it, and not vitamin deficiencies, you know.
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like data would have been obvious and shown it, like it's been very obvious on hypertension, diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
heart disease, all
Yeah.
that stuff. And that's just
Yeah.
me kind of talking out loud here, if you will, because this is all really interesting and awesome stuff. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I mean, dude, like this is, you go to that healthier diet we just had plugged in here, and it was similar. It was also very low
yeah,
in vitamin C and vitamin D. So that's like where,
yeah.
even for me, where I was eating healthier, if you will, and I was still supplementing vitamin D, how much is that really needed? That's even very cloudy. And we just, to be frank, I guess until you start seeing a really clear correlation through meta-analysis studies of people having severe issues because of something honest and transparent like a vitamin D shortage,
Mm-hmm.
what can you say other than so far it seems fine? Like,
Yeah.
I guess that's the answer. And I don't know what a doctor would have to see to say otherwise. Maybe they do look at calcium usage. Maybe they look to something like that as their only trigger. That'd be a good question for Dr. Shredecki, to be honest. Maybe she'll know.
Yeah.
It could be a good question because it's like, hey, what is it that you guys are looking for then? Because like, look at these two examples. Like this is wild. Should people be spending $8, $10 per bottle of whatever vitamin or even a supplement unless they're absolutely at critical levels from blood work? Otherwise, just like anything else,
Mm-hmm.
is it a big old waste of money for the most part, and mostly placebo effect going on
Mm-hmm.
here?
Yeah, man. Well, that line of thinking that you just went through was unreal, because I agree with everything you said. Um, Especially though the first part that you went to, just to kind of like examine like potentially bad outcomes or like bad health effects, is like, well, is like being deficient here leading to any problems with our big issues like diabetes, hypertension, the heart diseases, the CVDs, group of diseases? And it's not really. Like that's where most of the data is right now, because that's like where the biggest impact is. It's like
Sure.
investigating whether or not like supplementing things will have an effect on cancer, will it have an effect on diabetes? Will it have an effect on cholesterol? Will it have an effect on heart disease, stroke, CVD, shit like that? So
Yeah.
I'll bring up another just like quick set of tabs here, where it's just like going through, basically it's a lot of medical journals that are investigating this. It's not so much like your everyday researchers. And a lot of their investigations are looking at like the stuff that you, like when you went through that line of thinking that you brought up. Um, so this is just a generic search. So I encourage anybody and everybody, if you want to like go down to where a lot of these recommendations or like numbers or values are coming from, you can almost always find kind of what they're distilling it from. If you go to PubMed, this is a really good one when it comes to like actual medicine or MDs, the internal medicine annals. PubMed is another great one. Even Google Scholar is pretty darn good nowadays. And I just went through a few of them like as they pertain to investigating like some of the big stuff. So vitamin, mineral, and multivitamin for the prevention of CVD and cancer. And again, lots of times, almost all of these is they're trying to pull data from a whole bunch of studies. So I don't know if these guys, oh no, these guys might have actually done it themselves. Efficacy of multivitamins in the general population. Applies to healthy adults. So I don't have their methods here, but I'm guessing they pulled a whole bunch of data from a few studies. The current evidence is insufficient to assess the balance of benefits and harms, right? There's a potential of harms from taking multivitamins, just like there's a potential of benefits for the prevention of CVD and cancer. Concludes the current evidence is insufficient to assess the balance of benefits and harms for prevention of CVD or cancer. Now, lots of times what you might see is very specific nutrient or very specific vitamin recommendations when it comes to very specific conditions. Like here, they recommend against B-carotene and vitamin E when it comes to CVD and cancer. So they must have seen some sort of like statistically significant adverse effect with these specific nutrients or vitamins, right?
But still very like one-off, very outlier
Yeah.
kind of statements.
Yep. This is looking at after myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack, whether or not making sure you're hitting your vitamins is going to help prevent that. So here they did actually do a double-blind placebo study. This is the gold standard when it comes to research, when you're actually doing a randomized control. Oh, actually, I don't know if it's RCT. Yep. When you're doing a blinded randomized control trial, that is where we really distill like the best information from. It's really tough to do that because we don't really get to tell everybody how to run their studies. So when we aggregate data into some sort of like meta-analyses, like some of these other tabs will be, we're pulling from studies with a whole bunch of methodologies, right?
Yeah.
So here, nice subject size, a nice study design, really like it. Randomly assigned, and they're looking at following cardiac myocardial infarction or myocardial infarction, so cardiac or heart attack. And let me get down. So I am being an abstract scientist right here. If you want to actually like dig into it, you should read a little bit longer than this. Median follow-up, patients receive vitamins for 31 months, yada, yada, yada. Totals. Where's my, oh, I'm not even in the right place. High dose oral vitamins did not statistically significantly reduce cardiovascular events. However, this conclusion is tempered by the non-adherence rate. So they think there might have been people not actually adhering to the program. Right?
God damn it.
It's, again, tough. Long-term multivitamin.
Plus, like, talk about a weird demographic to pull together, man. People that just have heart attacks, people get ready to have heart attacks. Like,
Yep. Long-term.
Dude, I'd be curious if they have anything about just in general. And I think they have these more so targeted towards vitamin C and vitamin D, of course, for obvious reasons. In terms of mental health and how somebody feels throughout the day, that's something I need to really refresh myself on. Maybe outside of the scope of what we're talking about a bit, just because that's typically one of the ones where it may not have adverse health effects from a physiological standpoint, but maybe a mental standpoint could pose benefits.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and just nature of the beast there, so tough to measure, right? So tough.
What a shit show.
Whenever we're here, especially in like the internal medicine journals, they're looking very, very specifically, right? Like case studies of specific
They're not going to waste
points.
their time on vague.
So these guys, so this was looking at cognitive change. They found that there was no difference. So here over in PubMed, I did a little bit more of a general search where I tried to target just a little more general. We're not looking at somebody who might have just had a heart attack or. So this is looking at just multivitamin supplementation, meta-analysis of RCTs. So these guys tried to pull a whole bunch of randomized control trials together. So this might be a little more indicative as opposed to looking at a medicine journal of a specific condition. And this was looking specifically at mortality. They wanted to know if, like, in general, are the people who are taking multivitamins living longer? That seems like a metric that should increase if they're like having some sort of like positive outcome on health. And they found that multivitamin and multimineral treatment had no effect on mortality.
Jesus, what a mess. It's just like legit about to fall into. It's like we have so much access to food these days that it's seemingly for now a non-issue, because it's also very difficult to go over the limit unless you really try hard, kind of like aspartame almost.
I do think as a general statement that's probably applicable in almost all cases. So
in the United States. In the
United States, in the developed worlds more so. I'll try to reiterate here, like, I do not have a negative view of multivitamins. I'm just not so sure that they are like that beneficial as they're purported to be. And if you don't have a specific goal or issue that you're targeting, it might not be doing the job that you think it's doing in a lot of cases, right? So again, here was a big systematic review. They found multivitamin use within the range will not exalt or does not increase mortality. These findings, but they found that they were safe for long-term use. So if they're helping you target a specific deficiency, they seem to be safe. But it looks like we haven't really found too many kind of like big broad effects, right? You'll find different areas where a specific condition was helped by a specific nutrient, but often, like in a general sense, a multivitamin isn't kind of lending to helping to prevent CVD or increase mortality or decrease diabetes, like really have any sort of really big like marked effect that we can really see, you know?
That's totally fair.
So a lot of these did end up like kind of just saying like no effect on. There are, like, if you do go and look, you will be able to find positive effects, but it will almost always be very specific to a certain condition, a certain deficiency, and it might be because of a specific nutrient in whatever supplement they give that population. So let's take this away, and now I'll try to make a clean and clear final statement of what I think about multivitamins. Where the heck was that other tab? Here we go. Now, do I think multivitamins are good? I don't know. Do you think multivitamins are good, Ryan?
I know well enough, such a disagreeing with you, it's not really a good thing to have a blanket statement like that.
Very nice. Yeah.
They're good. They're good in terms of providing, overall health, but what that looks like, I think, is misunderstood by a lot of people. And just like that, they're probably not bad either, unless, once again, poison is typically in the dosage here, or in this case, the lack thereof, right? But we're seeing that it's very hard to get to do that, unless in a very one-off case. At least in the developed world, it's very difficult to be very under. So
yeah. So this is, I think, my position, my statement when it comes to multivitamins. They can be good, they can be bad, they can be neutral.
Do you guys I did see
that. A lot, isn't it?
Dude, that was so bullish. I got so excited about PulseX.
Yeah,
that made me so excited. I swear.
I know it's gonna hammer.
Well, if the test net's anything to go by, boy, oh boy,
the whole thing is going to be nuts. The whole thing is going to be nuts because there's like, it's like you've been pulling on this elastic band of just anticipation of people who got into Pulse, and then like the people who didn't get into Pulse and they got the chance to get into PulseX, and this elastic is being, there's more and more tension on this elastic, and then You know, you've got all these people who didn't get into PulseX, and now they're like, okay, I need to get some hex. And right now is like a great time to get hex. Like if you look at the chart over the last,
sure is
7 months, it's a great time just before the fork. It's like,
do you think that's going to cause people? Do you think that tension, because it's been quite a while, do you think it's going to cause people to like sell earlier? Like as soon as they get a 10x on whatever we're
going to see everything, bro. We're going to see everything. We're going to see some retardation. We are going to see some fucking degenerate retardation like happen. And it's going to be so fun to watch because I'm going to be sitting back watching everyone do all sorts of crazy shit. I heard Richard talk about having a plan. Like, have your plan set up. I got fuck all plan, dude. I'm sitting back. I'm sitting back watching everyone else do shit. I'm going to sit back. I got my tokens. I know that if I just hang on to them for like 4 or 5 years, that shit's going to be worth a fucking shit ton. Maxi is a contract. And it's like a pool for making a 5555 stake. And people need to use the contract to put their hex in there. You don't send your hex to the contract. You'll lose your fucking hex. Okay, don't do that shit. You have to use like the functions to put your hex into the contract, and then it gets staked for 5555, and then you get you're gonna get like for every hex you put in, you get a Maxi token, right? And that token represents a percentage of the pool of the pie, right? And at the end, when that stake comes out, depending on how much Maxi you have, then you're going to get that proportion of the principal, the inflation, and the hedron as well. But you really need to read the audits, guys. Read the audit. Do your due diligence. I personally haven't interacted with it, so I don't know. I'm just telling you what's happened so far. So there's been almost 67 million hex in there. And what's interesting about Maxi is that if it can get to or close to or get to 150 million, then you're going to get the full 10% of the bigger pays better bonus, which is an extra 10% of T-shares.
Yeah, just to like clarify that for people, like if you put less than 150 mil in, then you don't get very much bigger pays better bonus, and that bonus actually goes up quadratically. So the more you put in, the bonus goes up a lot more, and that's why everyone is talking about this 150 mil because if it gets up to that, then it gets the maximum bigger pays better bonus. So you're kind of getting a hex. I mean, it's a really smart, simple kind of.
What are they up to yet? What are
67
they up to?
67 million, day 3.
Hex.
Oh, so probably pretty easily get to that target.
Yeah, they're well on the way. Yeah, and it means that you.
How many days left? How many days left for this?
Like almost the whole amount.
11 days or something.
This is actually like almost like a no-brainer for some OGs. Like if you've done your due diligence and you know that this is you're happy with it, right? Because if you go and stake your own, if you go and stake your, let's say $1 million, like let's say there's an OG who's got 1 million hex, right, and they want to stake it. If you go stake it yourself, you're not going to get any bigger pays better bonus, basically zero, right? But if you stake it in this, and this happens to get over that 150 mil, then you're going to get an extra 10% on the T-shares. So it's for the OGs out there who have done their due diligence, this could be a really good way to get that extra bit of, cream on top.
What do you guys think about?
Hang on, particularly because there's so many people who want to have liquidity potentially, like they want to be able to take the money out and do something with it. So they're just making short-term stakes, maybe 2 weeks long, maybe a month long. They're taking they're huge bags, they're chucking in for 2 weeks or a month or 2 months or whatever. And so they're paying all of those start stake and end stake fees, and they're not getting much on their T-shares for the longer pays better bonus. They're just scraping a little bit of interest. But with this, what you could do if you still wanted liquidity is you chuck it in this. You have the Maxi, you're getting the bigger pays better bonus. You're getting the longer pays better bonus. And if you want to scrape a little bit of money out that you need for something as you're going along, you just sell your Maxi. And like Maxi's obviously going to have a market, and we don't know what that market will be. But you would think that it would pretty much like track the stake, the value of the stake. And so
is it just me or is Bluey cutting in and out?
For all of those short.
Yo,
just you.
I want to hear your thoughts. Starting with Sammy. What about that question that chick asked in that interview of why would anyone buy Hex anymore? If this Maxi gives you basically all the benefits of staking with none of the lockup, so you get you're fully liquid on something that has a max stake with all the bonuses. Why would anyone buy anything else? Like, why would anyone actually buy Hex?
Because this is a once-off thing.
Hang on, Sammy.
Right?
Yeah, I asked Sammy. Let's do it in order. That's cool.
Yeah, but what if your emergency end state? So what if I want to pull out my Maxi? Like, does that pull out it all, or
it's liquid the whole time?
You hold it.
It's never locked. It stays liquid the entire time, Sammy.
Well, that's right. The weekends. It's proof of weekends, isn't it?
I'll tell you one reason. I'll tell you one reason. Look, I'll go, Sammy. Sorry.
So I suppose one reason would be because Hex, we're already staked, and Hex is probably going to be better than Maxi. Even though Maxi looks pretty good, but Hex is rich at heart, and you couldn't have Maxi without Hex. So, boom.
Yeah, that's true. That it relies on Hex's existence to even exist.
Yeah.
Good point. If Hex didn't exist, then Maxi couldn't exist. It requires it.
Yeah, there's still reason to buy Hex, and there's still reason to make native Hex stakes, and there's still reason to make HSI stakes. You can have. I think it's good to have a mixture of them all, and like
really
on Twitter, there's been someone like saying that on the 20th of April, which is tomorrow, there's going to be some other airdrop to Hex stakers. So if you're in the Maxi contract, you won't be able to get that airdrop.
Keep it simple.
And if you're so
good point.
That's a reason. That's a reason to have native Hex stakes. Like it is really difficult for new people coming in, and it's like, well, how do we divide it? There's so many options here. I'd still kind of get a variety of things. I'd still do a Hex ladder of native stakes. I'd still get some HSIs, especially now that the launch bonus is still happening on Hedron. I'd get some Maxi, but instead of holding liquid to in case the price pumps and you want to like cash out a bit and buy yourself a Lambo, I'd be putting that liquid into Maxi probably.
So it's a liquid play. It's like you've actually got to swap your Hex for Maxi. Is that right? You swap your Hex for Maxi, and then you hold liquid.
You have to run the function. So be really careful. Don't just send it to the contract. What you do is you have to go
I'm not doing anything until I know what it is.
Yeah, you go onto this Maximus.cash website, and you have to run an approval. You have to approve how much Hex from your wallet you're willing to spend, and that's a transaction. And then you have to, then you mint it. And I tried it out; it works all perfectly fine and good. Yeah.
I think
it's a no-brainer for your liquid Hex because you're going to be getting
staking protects you from yourself, whereas the Maxi is just like a coin that you hold that you could sell at any time.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, well, you've got to make your own decisions. We're all adults.
Do you get your Hex back at the end, though?
If you want to protect yourself from yourself, then just lock it up your Hex normally.
But do you get your Hex back at the end? That's what I want to know.
At the end,
you get your Hex back at the end.
Yeah, you get plus all the interest and the yield and the Hedron as well.
Now I'm interested.
You're getting the Hedron and the Hex.
Thank you.
So if you hold it to the end of the stake,
I might just have a little dabble with that. Then I've just got it now, so I'll have a read through the white papers, just do my due diligence on it, and
it's already been traded on Uniswap. That's the really weird thing.
And I think it had an audit that went well.
2, I think. Yeah.
So the audits came back.
There's
is it possible
there's
though?
upsides and downsides to Maxi. There's some upside and downside. So, for example, the downside is that okay, well, the downside in my mind is that you don't have access to your hedron as you go through the stake.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Right.
Yep.
So that's a downside, but it's not. It's like that is offset in my mind by the fact that if they're able to get to that 150 mil hex in that stake, and you were to get that 10% bonus on the T share, then that's much better than you just doing your own 5555. You know, and you know, when I say that that's a downside, it may or may not be. We have to see what the Maxi price does, because if the Maxi price tracks the price of your principal plus the inflation that you're getting paid plus the hedron price, and that's all worked into that Maxi price, and they're all equal along the way, then maybe that ain't bad at all, because then you've got your Maxi.
Yeah, I mean, Maxi is, you can get Maxi 1-for-1 for hex at the moment, but you would think over time Maxi is going to have to go up against than hex because of all that interest you're earning every day, plus the hedron that you're accruing as well.
Yeah, 43. I was going to say, theoretically, if it's tracking correctly, then you can extract the value of the hedron you would have earned just by selling that proportion of the Maxi.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like, because get what I'm saying? As it deviates from, you could just sell the same. Yeah, so assuming that it's tracking correctly.
But the assumption there is also that the proportion, like, of that equation, like your hex is a certain percentage of that, makes up a certain percentage, and the hedron makes another percentage. If that percentage that makes up that pie, that ratio changes over time, then you might have made a bad decision by selling that percentage of Maxi at that time.
Yeah, but the same could be said where if you cash out your hedron at that time, like, as in, do you see what I'm saying? Like,
every time you do anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the one downside is that you won't get any future airdrops.
Yeah, I think that was a really good point, Blue Bum. This one I hadn't thought of. Well done. That's a really good one that I didn't think of.
And the question is, will that 10%, if they get to the 150 million hex, will that 10% extra T shares offset that?
Probably. Yeah. Depending on how long you hold. Eh? Yeah.
But I think there's something for OGs to have a look at, you know. I think it's something for OGs to have a look at.
I like what Blue Bum said, that if you're unsure, then just don't go all in on any one thing. Like, have a range of things.
Let's be honest, we're going to get the OGs that are going to get it over the line at this point. It's going to be the OGs who get it over that 150 million hex line.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money.
But it's great for the small people as well, because that means they can really maximize, their stake, their hex.
Extra bonus. Yeah, bonus.
Absolutely.
And I guess the other thing to add is that there could be things in the future that are unforeseen. So there's what we've talked through here, and then there could be something that we're not thinking of that you can't factor in because you don't know what it is.
Yeah, maybe not. Really maybe you want to sell Maxi, but it's trading at a massive discount for whatever reason at that time, and you just.
But hang on.
And it's also dependent on the hex price, and
can I ask a question? If it's pegged to the hex price, but like there's only a 15-day period where you can put your hex in, and then once that's done, the hex accrues in the yield or the interest, like on the daily T-share payout based on the big stake. But what happens to where does more Maxi come into existence? How does more Maxi come into existence without hex? So that's going to be, so the Maxi is going to be like, wow, so that's interesting. So imagine that in 5 years' time.
Basically, you're buying a share of a massive stake. And
that's right.
Your share, and you can sell those shares or buy more shares.
But if you sell them, do you still get you?
No.
Sorry, Blue. Sorry to interrupt.
No, if you sell, you're selling that share of that stake.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Maxi is your ticket. It's your golden ticket, right? The Maxi is your golden ticket.
So you wouldn't sell it. You would want to keep it till the end of the 15 years. So you can get
like hedron. It's not like hedron, mate. It's different. It's different.
I need to look.
Hedron is something extra, and Maxi is, it's like its own thing that represents
Sounds
your
like
stake.
Well, it's really interesting, but
and you know what else? You know what else, Unricked? Because there have been people who have been sending their hex to the contract. Not many, but it has happened, and that means that their hex is basically lost to them. But what happens at the end of the contract is that people who have sent hex there, that gets distributed to all the Maxi holders as part of the distribution at the
Hedron
when it's ended. No. Well, Hedron and any hex that has been sent by accident to that Maxi contract, and then all the hex plus the interest, the principal and interest that stake yields.
But someone had her or his wallet hacked, and he was trying to get Richard Hart to help him secure the sacrifice or something on PulseChain after it launched.
And Richard says, "You know what? You're out of luck. You've got to race that attacker now and be Johnny on the spot. Try to race them on the opening day. Of course, you know that they have bots, and you better too. We do have a in-community solution now for all of those of you that are in this position, but you better damn well not be in this position. If you've been in the voice chat.
Where was that? I remember we did have something. Was it on howtopulse.com or?
Yeah.
Where is that solution?
Howtopulse.com, and Walrus is putting it together. Yep. So look for him and look for howtopulse.com. It's not cheap. It's a new type of system. I'm not going to go into it in detail, but get with the howtopulse.com guys. They've got a solution if you're an idiot and shared your seeds already or didn't get a hardware wallet. But you better have somewhere safe to throw that stuff once they nab it for you. So you need that in place too. So again, hardware stinking wallet. And another thing, while we're on the subject, I'm sorry we haven't, Dust Bum, may I just keep the mic for just one more moment? One more moment. All right, look, I really like I gotta say that I really like the content, and I don't want this to come off like an ego boasting type of thing. I like the content that comes out of the Pulse Abides. I think he's a great up-and-coming streamer. He's dedicated. He's got great information. He's got good charts. He's just a good guy to tune into. However, 2 days ago, at the 19-minute and 40-second mark, he gives some pretty reckless advice for everyone in terms of working with their MetaMask. He says, basically in a nutshell, his onboards come to him and they say that they're having a problem once they have a failure of their MetaMask, and they then introduce their seed phrase from MetaMask back into a newly installed version of MetaMask. They don't see their appropriate public addresses. Then he says, to solve this, so that's strike one right there. Right now, what did we do? We typed in our seed phrase back into a keyboard, into a PC with something that's having a problem, even worse. So that's strike one. I don't agree with doing that in any way, shape, or form. Never type your seeds into anything even resembling a keyboard. Number two, he says, to get around this, what you do is you reveal your private key like so, and then you copy paste it onto a document, and then you encrypt that document and send it up into the cloud. Bob's your uncle. No, for God's sake, all of those steps are incredibly risky and borderline idiotic. I will tell you right now, the only time you ever introduce your seed phrase into anything other than, writing it on paper or etching it into steel or titanium, the only other thing you ever do is you go through an advanced recovery method by getting that into a hardware wallet, namely a Trezor or a Ledger. That's it. Do not, and Richard even called out the exploit recently about the cloud. Don't hide anything in the cloud to do with crypto. Disable that on your dedicated PC. Don't use your phone for crypto. For God's sake, people, this has disaster written all over it. So please disregard that video. People are coming to me asking if I can confirm it or if this is good. The only way that makes sense is if your system is incredibly ornate and you've got a very, very complicated OPSEC with Linux and all sorts of other stuff in the back end. It's not the way he described it. I respect him as a provider of good information, but in this case, he slipped up entirely. Do not follow those steps. Do go to howtopulse.com and do check out the videos there, because then you won't get frickin' wrecked. Thank you.
Very wise. Yeah, please.
Very wise and very angry.
Listen.
Very angry.
Listen to,
because anybody that
listen to security experts like Papa B.
No, look. I'm just saying that it is frustrating, Dust Bomb, because for the last year we've been out there banging the drum, slowly making progress, and for somebody who's respected and a good streamer in our community to offer that information and sound very convicted, like it's a natural thing to do, could get people believing that is the right thing to do. I don't want to have to clean up after more mess that's happening this close to mainnet launch. Please, everyone, stay the frickin' course. Get yourself your hardware wallet if you need to do a migration. Watch the videos on howtopulse.com. We got everything posted there. I say we because I've contributed a couple of videos there. Check it the fuck out and get your goddamn hardware wallets. Thank you.
This is the Hex launch. This is what you were in for in the very, very beginning.
Yawn.
I see what
Imagine you just bought on the first day that has 1 billion Hex coming out on the very first day, and everybody is FOMOing in.
Done it.
Yeah,
Two Ethereum worth.
Look
and
at that.
Immediately it drops down 95% or something like that.
Like day 4 was 80% down, I think, or something
80?
like that.
Okay. Yeah, actually, wait, let's get the...
Look at that moonshot.
Numbers.
But this starts on 16 December, so it was way before.
Yeah.
16 December. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, back then we didn't even have charts. We didn't have anything.
Yes.
We couldn't see the
knew
price.
That we are wrecked.
Yeah, we only could see in the AA.
You exactly. You were watching the AA numbers and you saw how much one Ethereum got you in terms of Hex. And I remember the very first day was like 46,000 Hex or something, or maybe 49,000.
Yeah. No,
and then
46.
It flipped over to the next day and was like, oh, now you're getting 80,000 Hex for one.
yes.
First day.
And then
4 weeks later, 1 million.
It kept going up. The amount of Hex you received for one Ethereum kept going up, meaning your investment that you did in the beginning was going down by a great margin. And it ended up, the highest amount that I saw eventually was like 1.4 million or something. So on the very first day you got 49 and then you got down to 1.4 million. It's crazy. And that's
so day 1 was 47,584 Hex per ETH. And then the best day to buy was, like, to attend AA, was day 33. And
can you take down Alan Fizame, please? Because I'm getting fooled that he's talking and not Peter. Thank you. There he is.
And day 33, 1 ETH got you 1.841 million Hex.
Oof.
Yeah. Oh, and you get the bonuses on top of that, right?
Before bonuses.
That was before bonuses, yeah. So if you were smart in the AA, there was this extra gameplay mechanic, game theory, where if you got a friend in, you get like a little bonus. You were referring someone, but you could just self-refer if you knew how to do it. So you get like 32% or something, was it, or 33% on top of that? Yeah.
You remember Richard's video, how to be a shillionaire?
Yes.
Where he goes through the steps on self-referrals. Hi everybody, Richard Hart here. Here's how to be a shillionaire. And he went through the whole steps process of how to do that.
Oh yeah.
Who didn't do that?
back in my Discourse Syndicate used to be good.
Thank you.
Yes.
When it all started out. We didn't... What was the day that Discourse Syndicate started streaming? Does anybody remember? Because I don't know. So the very, very first one was Hexologist. And he started with normal videos. He wasn't even streaming for the first week or so.
Serena.
Yes, yeah, right, Serena.
Crypto Coffee.
Right.
Too.
Then
Serena, then Hexologist.
Not
yeah,
Crypto
maybe
Coffee
Crypto
first.
Coffee.
Crypto Coffee was before Hexo. What?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
You
all right.
sound like
Yes.
and then once Uniswap came on, you were going back and forth and comparing like, okay, what was one ETH worth, and then I'm gonna calculate how much hex I got, and then what's cheaper. Exactly. What is better? Do I put my money into the AA or do I put my money into the Uniswap? Yeah. You have to do some maths.
At the end of each day, there was like a gigantic whales coming into AA, so you never knew how much was coming there. I'm so glad it's over.
Hex on air, was it? He's complaining, why this salt in the wounds again? Remembering this dark time. Because, you know what? Because these are, without expectations, this is what you got, but look at the outcome. The outcome was amazing. So guess what? PulseX, this whole PulseChain thing is going to launch. You may think it's going to go absolutely straight up to the moon, but even if we get this type of nice kind of Mosian effect, it'll get there, man.
Do you still remember the old website? How bonky it looked? The original Hex website, it didn't look like anything that it looks like today. It was like a self-made HTML file, and then once something important came in, I'm pretty sure that Richard Hart just planted in the video by himself. Yeah, he just put it into the like
even do you remember that interview with Guacamole Zuko?
Yeah.
And he created the same site just to
he copy pasted it. Yeah, right. Yes. He just copy pasted the whole website. Zookcoin, Zookbucks, Zuckbucks. Yeah, Zuckbucks.
Like that.
But the thing is, though, not to be a smart as anything, but Richard kept saying he told everybody not to FOMO day one.
Yeah, and this is exactly where we're going.
Don't say it. Don't say it, because I agree with you, but we can't say that, right?
What?
Because
I
remember it happening post-launch. All of a sudden,
you see,
right?
See? That's my Well,
so this is exactly what Richard Hart was looking at and sharing at that time. He tried to tell everybody that the first day wouldn't be the best ones, and he posted this ETH to EOS curve. How many people got in, what the prices were. You have it on this chart. And he posted it several times to try to explain that, hey, day one might not be the best, even though I tried to make it 1 billion to compensate for first day FOMOs, but everybody just FOMO'd in harder. So I don't know, it didn't work.
That's what you get when you wait 2 years for something.
Yeah.
Then I have a question. Why did there have to be such a dilution on day one if there was already going to be a FOMO dilution as well? That's like insult to injury.
No, but he tried to compensate. He tried to diminish it, to diminish the feel of loss that you have.
But he did the opposite. He increased the amount that was available on the first day. So
yeah, and that was good because then you got more. You get more. Otherwise, if it wasn't 1 billion on the first day, everybody would have gotten only 20,000.
The problem was that you're absolutely right. I understand, but the problem was the chart was actually printed, so you saw that the next day was reduced by half, and the dum-dums thought, "Oh, the first day must be better because of that extra pool. Therefore, I'm going to get a piece of that pie." Yeah. Problem was there was more than double the amount of people FOMOing in day one, and then everybody gets a little tiny sliver.
Yep. I thought, and I think many people actually made that mistake as well in the very beginning, that there will be so many Bitcoin free claims that would reduce the supply that gets released over time daily, but only like 3% of Bitcoiners or so claimed.
Nobody
so it
claimed.
stayed the whole time at it was massive, and it was massive. It was millions in Bitcoin worth that was claimed.
Yeah.
But the problem was that it stayed on the 500 million per day, and it was like 520 million, and then it got down to 513 million or something. So the percentage reduction was small enough that it would stay at a high hex release every day, and then people went in too hard on day one thinking that it would reduce over time. That was my personal mistake, and then yeah, remember Nightly. I remember. He created the copy coin that the chart looks just like this versus ETH the whole time.
Wow.
But there were other people that were really, really smart in the beginning, like this guy.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh man, that's quite a staking ladder, man.
So this was back in the day,
and each one has one hex on it.
no, it's not one hex. It's and oh, look at that! It's 78 million hex. Jesus, that's so much. 78 million.
It's a big smile that guy's got.
Yeah, over 3 years ago. No, 2 years ago. Exactly, 2 years ago.
Where is he now? Too rich to pick up our phone calls anymore?
Yeah. So this staking ladder is not every stake is probably worth on ETH, because back in the day, to create a stake and to end stake was only like 1 cent in Ethereum fees.
Yeah.
You didn't even think about it. You were just throwing them around like candy.
Yeah. And you know what? Hold on, Dustbomb. I'm gonna make a guess. All those stakes, one wallet, MetaMask.
Of course, it's one wallet.
It would have been MetaMask.
Yes. This is just one MetaMask.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, way too many stakes. But we didn't know better. Not everybody knew back then how it's gonna be with the gas cost.
I didn't know better. Like,
look at that cluster in the first 2 years. It's like it's solid.
I have a cluster in this year, and it's horrible. Oh.
I'm done with my cluster. I'm now spaced out like a space cowboy.
Unclogged.
Okay, stream
unclogged. I took my stool softeners. Yeah.
Who knows what this is?
Oh, this is the I know this site. I have seen
Pirate Bay.
This is the Pirate Bay main page. Yeah, that was up for like a week or so during the first
launch
days.
week. That was up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I did not remember that.
Oh yeah.
Hex Bay.
What?
That is so cool.
Yeah. You didn't see that?
No, I remember it now. Now that you brought it up, I remember it now. But that means that the guys that were maintaining the Pirate Bay, I guess, there is no Pirate Bay proper really anymore. It's mirrored sites throughout wherever. But those entities are hexagons. That's very interesting to know.
No, I think
that was just
spot.
It was just a paid spot?
Ad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's just an ad.
C5.
Right, because we don't condone naughty torrenting behavior.
Exactly.
We don't?
I can't copy the chat here.
Well, you
Motley, can you DM me the video link?
He's got it. He's got it. He just put it on there.
Yeah, but I can't copy paste.
I'll put it on. Hold on.
God damn it! Yes.
When I click on the comment, it says show or hide. I can't like select anything.
I got it. Here it is. Thank you, Motley. Here we go. And there. Uh-oh.
You got it in Telegram here.
But does it have like sound or something?
Yeah, it does. There.
Oh, okay. He also sent it to me.
Yeah. I think that's a great song.
Hex Crypto. When was it? March 7, 2019. That was even before the launch. Way before the launch. Way.
Yeah, but we were already waiting for the launch by then.
It was called Bitcoin Hex, by the way.
I guess
we were in the 4 more weeks phase.
But so this is not copyrighted music, right? So it doesn't matter if I play it.
No, it's not. You can play that. It's also on the Hex mixtape volume 2.
The Hex mixtape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Play it.
Okay. Yeah. One moment. Technology.
I thought you like order. Come on now.
Streaming live.
First.
Order in the stream.
Order. Cheeseburger, please.
Oh boy.
I want the old DS logo back.
What? Which one?
The BS logo.
No, this is.
Oh, here it is.
Bitcoin Hex was created by a guy named Richard Hart, a longtime Bitcoin investor, now creator of his own. It's an ERC20 token compatible with Ethereum blockchain. You can get it for nothing, so if it goes up, you'll gain. Bitcoin Hex, the newest trend, so get ready, my friend. This cryptocurrency is the best you'll ever see. The best thing is that Hex is free, so get it now, don't be silly. This cryptocurrency, the best you'll ever see. Hex offers a financial product like a certificate of deposit. This is the first of its kind, so surely it'll be a hit. Hex is optimized so that you can hodl on to all your Bitcoin currency till the best deal comes along. Though of course the market is unpredictable, if you play it right, then you could score. Just take a snapshot and you're done. Easy as 3, 2, 1. This cryptocurrency is the best you'll ever see. The best thing is that Hex is free, so get it now, don't be silly. This cryptocurrency, the best you'll ever see. Even though some people don't believe in it, it can't be real, they say, oh, it just doesn't fit. Hex will prove that they're not right, the future's looking bright. This cryptocurrency is the best you'll ever see. The best thing is that Hex is free, so get it now, don't be silly. This cryptocurrency, the best you'll ever see.
You're right, I do. You're absolutely correct. All right, let's see if I know the password.
Operational security at its best, Papa.
What the fuck?
Hacks. Thank you.
Oh, what the? Did you just say it?
Hacks, we have $94. Yo! We made $50 because of who hooked me up? Who was it? He's never came back again. He gave me the bits and never, or he gave me the hex coin and never came back. What a nice guy. Boom, baby. Who says you can't get rich off hacks?
Well, you can see it, but he wanted to show his minimum.
If you guys would have dumped all of your money into hacks, you would have been twice as rich as you are currently. And oh, it
2x
the fucking thing.
On a double.
It's okay.
Sold it on a double.
You guys would have been twice as rich as you are now.
Yeah.
Well, that's certified. Sold it on a double activity right there.
Yep. Hey, you could have doubled your $50.
Yeah, he didn't sell. Nah, I'm joking. Oh, that was funny though.
That guy looks a little bit like Walrus when he doesn't shave. Uh-oh, they're coming for you, Wales.
You know how that goes.
So this was around April 2021, so basically a year ago. And this is also when, for the first time, thought experiments for Pulse came onto the scene.
Ah.
When, I mean, I guess it was already in the back of Richard's mind, I guess, but he had something for the community to think about, like, what is the base game theory? He threw it out, and he wanted some feedback on how it could play out in reality. And you see, not a lot of things have changed. We still have the 33 validators. The freemium is gone. That one was removed.
Damn, that
But
was a pain
most
in
of
the
the
ass
stuff,
explaining for 6 months, though, wasn't it,
Yeah.
Wales? I mean,
Yeah.
Dust Bomb. We were in that chat. Hey, do I have to move my Pulse tokens when I get them into a different wallet? I heard I'm going to lose them all. No, fuck. Jesus, no. For 6 months, and then
It's
finally
like,
Richard
only
says...
the freemium, only that one Ethereum that you have, and then we have
Yes.
to explain, like, oh my god, but the supply is 1.2 million X, so
Yep.
don't even bother with moving that one
Yep.
Pulse, because it will be.
Yep.
And we had bots set up with automatic replies where we would educate people in PulseChain and PulseX, like explaining,
Yep.
like,
and
come
more
on,
than once, someone comes in again and says, "I'm confused and concerned. What about my Pulse getting taken out from my wallet?" And I said, "Man, I will freaking give you a Pulse. Okay, shut the fuck up and get the fuck out."
Yeah, there was like a 2-week grace period or something, right, in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't move it in 30
it was a
days.
month, 30 days.
Yeah,
30 days.
30
Yeah.
days was the
If you
I mean, in
didn't
terms
move
of
your freemium within 30
30
days,
days,
it would get
right.
removed. But it was.
I mean, in terms
so,
of clearing out some of the riffraff, that might have been a thing, but if you want to get mass adoption, it's better as it is now, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was the time around when the Ethereum whale also started buying. So he had his position, and then he realized, like, I like this so much, I'm just gonna buy it all up. It's all mine now. And he just exploded the price into the moon.
Thank you, Godwell.
Yeah. And then people were really happy, and they started to market the shit out of Hex with their personal time. So we had, I guess I cannot load this video. Oh, it's not a video. Oh, my bad.
Oh, that's why.
It's a picture. So
Yes.
this thing happened. Somebody bought like a truck and drove it around in, I don't know, New York or something. I don't know.
New York or something? It's New York.
I don't know. It is New York?
Yeah.
Looks like New York.
Or
okay.
something, yeah.
And right
Nice.
outside the Wales
Wells
Fargo
Fargo.
Bank. If
Wales Fargo.
You guys are ridiculous.
Yeah. Nice. And we
Good
had
place.
little guerrilla
Oh, that's great.
marketing and everything.
Yeah, that's not going to land you
And
in prison for posting.
the price just kept going up. It just past the moon and off to Jupiter.
I sure did, man. Definitely thought that thing was never gonna stop going up. Had everybody fooled.
No, comparison
come
to
on.
Bitcoin at that time.
We're just taking a break, Wales.
Oh, I know.
Check out Wales Only's chart.
I know.
So where are we right now? Actually, we're like here somewhere.
Yeah.
But like it went up, and then I think
So
we're
we're
around here.
300. I think we're
Yeah.
like 400 plus days from that point in time, maybe 500.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 360. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vegas happened.
Damn, that's what all. This was
People-
all before Vegas. That's funny because we didn't even
Yeah.
take off until after Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, people are such.
There was-
plebs.
Oh, and
Yeah,
everybody
that was
was
lots of
worried
fun.
that the PulseChain sack would start while everybody is in Vegas.
Ah.
This didn't even make any sense. That was dumb. Why the hell would he do that? We're
Yeah,
the ones that
he-
are gonna sack. What the fuck?
And it took another 3 months, or 3 times 4 more weeks. But yeah,
And then this baby popped up somewhere. Designed for moon travel. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't remember who it is, but there is a guy who is doing a
Nick
lot of
Green.
these.
Oh, I know who it is.
Nick Green.
I met him.
Nick Green?
Cool
Okay,
yeah.
well,
Wow.
shout out to you, Nick Green. Great job.
That's beautiful.
Really great
And they
job.
travel all around the country, so that's cool on these freight
Yeah,
trains.
you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like a moving billboard. I have a few more of them. I think they're gonna come up later, though.
And the actual train conductor and engineers and everyone that maintains it really don't mind that you tag their stuff like that. They say, "Come on,
guerrilla marketing."
Guerrilla marketing at its finest. This one pictured here is actually a Banksy.
Yeah, NFT right there.
There you
right.
go.
It's gonna be cheaper on Pulse.
It is. Get ready.
What does it say? What's the last one? What's it say? It says the thorn says up and to the right, and the second bubble
Shake it.
says
Shake it.
stake it.
Stake it. Sorry, stake it. Yeah. Stake it. It says get everything up and to the right. Stake it till you make it. I guess that's the short one. 555 and hex. Yeah. Hashtag hex.
Nice.
Very skillful.
Quite skilled. Yes, I do detect mid-century impressionism.
Oh, that's
here.
a whole car, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some old shit right
cars
there.
with bus
Samurai Champloo.
is what we used to
That's-
say in my day, youngin.
Graffiti belongs to Samurai Champloo. Oh, okay.
That was a really good show. I liked it. Chance takes and taking from some it's happening all the time. People are dumping. They don't know about the price. It's just
Go ahead, that's one. I'm sorry.
it's just money exchanging hands. The people that are buying in now, they understand they want a part of the yield, and the people who are selling, they just don't know what they're selling.
Pretty much, yeah. Best way to put it. If they did, they wouldn't be selling.
And with all that advertisement and with all those price changes, came in the traders. Let me bring this one.
Wow.
Oh! Love this.
Oh my fucking god. Hex is the best chart in cryptocurrency. All right, I quit.
Eric Crown, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what happens when you don't analyze things in the proper fashion and you use your emotional intelligence to analyze logical things. You look like a dumbass.
Speaking of dumbasses, well, first of all, I like Eric Crown just for his sense of humor. I followed him almost as long as I've followed Richard Hart. In fact, Richard was on his show, so that's cool.
I know who he is.
Twice. So the thing is that Eric Crown, of course, he's mentioned before, he has sacrificed for Pulse, and I believe PulseX as well. So not quite the trader head that we thought he was. He's invested in our ecosystem. So thank you, Eric.
But I think Motley made that happen with a $500 super chat that day.
With Eric? Or that or Toby One Hexobi is close to Eric Crown.
Okay.
So maybe both of them reached out.
Whatever, man.
Furu shit. Wait.
Hold on a second. Hold on. In breakdancing terms, this means that Dogecoin was offed and Hex took its turf.
Nice.
Wow. Doge sucks.
Yeah. True story. True yellowtail. No reason to trade anymore. There is none.
There's a tagging war going on these trains.
You don't need you don't need to no, what's the word? Sorry. No, not sacrifice. You don't need to give up your money to get yield, which is usually a risk. You don't need to risk your money. You just get the yield. And then this happened. Sexa. It's also a writing advertisement.
Is that you, Das Bomb?
No, I have no idea who that is actually.
No.
But I like the shirt.
Das Bomb is enjoying Das Butt.
You stupid.
And then this happened.
Oh yeah.
I think that was in UK too, but I'm not sure.
UK Premier League.
Yeah? Okay, yeah, crypto Matic is in the know. 2020,
Sure.
2020, the world's best performing asset in 2020,
Could it have been
2021.
Cryptomatic that put up that ad?
No, sir. Don't have that kind of money at my disposal, but because that must have been super expensive.
I mean, how much would something like that cost? Do you even know?
No.
We
I
should
have
all
no
know.
idea.
We should all know. These are things that we should know because that's an easy way to get millions of eyes on Hex.com, PulseChain.com globally. It's better than a Super Bowl ad because more people watch that all the damn time. So,
And when it's a goal, like the
Right.
even reruns of that scene, then on
over
the
and
news.
over and over and over and over and over. And
We could pay one guy to kick another guy's shin, and the guy overacts and he got hurt. The red
in
card
front of
comes
it.
out right in front of X.com. Awesome. I love the European soccer drama.
Oh, man. Too funny.
Every game.
It's like the NBA. They all flop to their heart's content.
Yep.
Sad.
Imagine selling your hacks just before a big run up.
I can't. Sorry. Mistake. 15
Yeah.
fucking years.
Before it went up to 50 cents. And it's gonna go way up more.
I can't wait till it hits $50. And it's coming. Because here's the thing people don't understand. Everybody now knows. Everybody that's in a position where they have to manage money, they are reading the writing on the wall. Because when they hear the word crypto, you see that confused look on their face. And that confused look is that look of being right on the line of understanding that they have messed up in a big way and need to get involved. Simple. See it all the time. When you miss trades, that's the look. Happens all the time.
Crypto King says he's the guy with the jersey on the bike. But King, yours is a stationary bike, and we don't talk about that.
Sure thing, Chief.
That was funny, yo.
Look at the UFO coming and landing on the field. That's pretty cool.
So apparently 280k. Wow.
95% of the world calls it football, and you guys have to call it soccer.
Well, no, we
Just
we could call it football, but it's still for like 7 and 8-year-old sport in the States.
It's 11 men running after a ball.
What's soccer? What the hell?
That looks like a delicious cake.
Nice. Is that the 2-year cake? No.
That's pretty good.
Oh, I look like a lesbian, man.
Keeping your face clean.
That's horrible. That's
Yeah.
horrible.
You look like you got an eye patch like behind the glasses here. Like
Yeah.
the quality of your camera was so crap back then. Like
That was like literally streaming from my Mac.
the one that almost melted on the 24-hour stream. That one.
Oh yeah, I melted. Oh, I had it on ice packs. It was all wet, and oh my god, I had
Is
to
this
literally.
the one where
it was like literally
we started
smoking.
Captain, is this the one where when you turn up the volume, you're like, "It's ma'am, it's ma'am,
It's ma'am."
Oh man, look at
GameStop
these
now.
guys. Look at these four.
4 horsemen at that point.
Good God, did we all age like 10 years in these past 10 years, or what?
I'm pretty. What are you talking about? I look better now. I look like I look like an ugly lesbian right there.
Oh, it's Marcus 99. Shout out to Marcus 99. That's what it is. That's what it
Marcus
is.
99, dude.
Yeah,
if
what
you're
else?
watching
He
all
was-
that shit, thank you, because there's some serious like 5-hour streams in there, and
Wow.
But you know what?
Where is he?
He's smart because if
wasn't
he is learning Hex, he's learning it how we learned it from the beginning.
Yep.
Figuring it out, being wrong, fixing it, making the narrative proper. I mean, that's what we did. We went from soup to nuts. We figured it out. Nobody taught us.
we had to learn on our own, and we put it out there for everybody to figure it out, and then everybody jumped in and helped. You know, it was a cool experience, man. I wouldn't change it, trade it for anything, man. That was some cool shit.
Yeah, Kinetics used to sit there and say nothing. He was the silent observer. You know, nowadays it's funny because he's like one of the main crew, and he's always talking about things and everything, and it's kind of weird looking back because if you watch those first videos, he's just sitting there studying. He's like
literally when you look at the first streams that Brand came on, like Valiant Brand would literally like just sit
smile
there and smile from ear to ear, like he was just happy to be there, right? And that's
one
what
of
he did.
One of the funniest streams I've ever seen was Valiant Brand, Crypto Coffee, and Motley, and they were using the little kid face filters.
Oh, yes. I remember that one.
And Brand didn't even look like he had a filter on. It was hilarious.
I remember back in the day, RG was by himself. He looked lonely, and I would be that guy that he'd be like, "Dude, you gonna come on?" Because I'm like,
yeah, we'd have like 9 viewers, right? And then I'm like texting Johnny, "Hey Johnny, you come on, man." I'm like sitting here like talking to myself, and like 9 viewers, 3 of them are stoned, 2 of them just have their computer turned on or AFK, and it's like there's like one person chatting, talking shit to me, you know. So can you come in? And Johnny would come in.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh shit.
And none of his shit worked, so he'd come in and his computer wouldn't work, his camera wouldn't work, his internet wouldn't work.
Wrecked. His phone was his tool. Streaming.
My phone was the tool back then because I would literally just jump in on my phone. Welcome here to the studio where nobody could hear us scream and yell like crazy people, and it's like, okay, let's do this. And Archie just looked so alone back then. And now look at you, bro. You got 10,000 followers. Check that out. You build up this channel. You've done what you set out to do. And congratulations, man.
Thank
you. Thank you. Hey, round of applause to the captain for bringing this all together, making this happen. That's awesome, man. I love it.
Sure, man.
Sorry, I hate to derail the conversation, but I would be remiss if I did not throw out there, guys, hexinvestmenttrust.com. hexinvestmenttrust.com. We are working on a solution. Hopefully it is very soon. Got a new scroller ticker at the bottom here. For those of you who have 401k, existing 401ks and IRAs, if you do not have an accreditation letter, we can get you in touch. If you reach out to us at the hexinvestmenttrust.com, there's an inquiry form. We can get you in touch with a firm that can confirm and verify your accreditation, and we can help here in the very short term. We should be able to help roll your existing 401ks and IRAs into the Hex Investment Trust. Let's go ahead and pump your bags. Let's get mass adoption.
Big time.
Yeah, big time.
Big time.
And get a better yield than you're going to get anywhere else in the market, all at the same time. Because we know how this product works, guys. We know how this product
Just to interject there, Ken, if you are not an accredited investor and have a 401k that qualifies that status, you can get them in. Is that what you're saying, correct?
They have to be accredited.
They have to be accredited.
Have to be accredited, not option.
Okay. So we have a team that can verify your accreditation. So if there's any doubts at all, you guys reach out to us and we'll have them look it through and it's, their fiduciary responsibility. So as a fiduciary, it's completely secret and between you and the CPA, and the CPA will verify it.
Yeah, it's a third party that handles the accreditation.
Yes, Alan is the man, by the way. Know this guy in real life. Love the man. Hardworking dude. Most honest man I know, probably. Such a fair guy. Anyway, just want to let you know it is possible. The second fairest guy I know. Is he
a Coloradoan at least?
Yes, he is. Definitely.
All right, now
Colorado boy.
That's why.
Colorado breeds some good ones, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
No, but again, just to reiterate, it's not something that part of MCA, but people are building here, man. And we're starting with the accredited investors because that's a different avenue rather than crypto people. we are going to take the lunch from Grayscale because they do not have what we have. They're building on carrier pigeon maximalism. It is not even fucking funny. It is not even fucking funny. I'll loan you my pager, Grayscale. Go ahead and take it. But like, this is the whole thing: is we are all building, and with each individual avenue, we're bringing it all together. So the new streamers, proper tips of the hat to you.
It's a hell of a spider web, really.
It's it's cells upon cells upon cells interlinked.
This is a true statement from my son, Donald Swan.
Well, I mean, you saw.
I love when my son comes to my rescue.
Thank you. Give me some moon boots, RG.
Thank you. Thanks, son. I appreciate you.
But
Hey, did I mention Chad Donnerschwanz is probably my son? If he was born in the early 2000s, most likely, if I met his mom, I'm definitely.
That would make me your grandfather.
Oh my! And the pirate me and me, it fucking like goes down.
Kinetics and I have done a DNA test. We just aren't going to reveal the results because we can't talk about them.
We can't talk about it. Wow, that was disappointing.
They are sealed. They are sealed.
They're sealed. Pleb stompers.
So yes, Alan Hackett, going back to that, we have a solution that we will be able to get any self-directed IRA or 401k in as long as we can prove your accreditation. We're just the custodian that handles those self-directeds are processing our paperwork to make sure that we fit fit all of their qualifications. And since it's just like any other trust that's publicly traded, it shouldn't be an issue.
So Kinetics, so just
time out because Kevin misspoke. It's a private placement. It's not a publicly traded anything.
No, I'm saying that we should get approved because it's just like any other thing public that's already out there, that already exists.
Just so people understand, that's the point of all of this.
Yeah, our fund at this point, or our trust at this point, is not public, but it is modeled after any other public trust, so it should fit their qualifications just fine. So we're just waiting for the green light from them.
Yep.
So my question to you, both of you guys. So I have a self-directed IRA because I tried to do the whole Bitcoin IRA and all the rest of that stuff, and eventually I figured it out, moved my shit into Hex. Would you advise someone to get their, if they're not accredited yet, to get their self-directed IRA, and then once they get that, to then wrap that in, because they either can hold their old 401k or they can wait and then actually have to do the work, the CPA, because you're self-directed. The beauty about MCA is the full package of everything. Would you advise them to do that kind of work if they're not available to take part of MCA yet?
I mean, do you mean setting up a self-directed?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then from there, roll that back into MCA when available.
You mean the trust, not MCA.
You mean the trust, not MCA.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, but I see some validity in what you're saying, though, that even if it were in that route that you were discussing, yeah, I do see there being in fact, the trust may be what makes you an accredited investor if you can put yourself directed into the Hex Investment Trust. So
I want to clear up a little confusion that goes on here, and it's common, but the MCA and the Hex Investment Trust are two different things. The Hex Investment Trust is, paper Hex, gonna, be traded to privately right now. However, MCA is a trust organization that we've put together to help people diversify, protect, and create tax shelters for their crypto earnings as they're offboarding them. So two different things here. If you've applied for MCA, it has absolutely nothing to do with the Hex Investment Trust.
Yes.
MCA is a very first come, first serve. Everybody's in line. So there are a lot of people waiting to actually get the process going. It's not an easy process. It's not simple. There's a lot of information that has to be transferred back and forth. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. These are literally contracts and trusts that need to be built, and it takes time to do that. And I'm not even finished with all of mine yet. So be patient. It takes time. Even if you're out there in the real world trying to do these things, especially if you're trying to bridge them into crypto, it is going to take you a long time to get all of it sorted out and taken care of. So just be patient.
Yep, I agree. No, but this is a totally different question. The form of interest is on the hexinvestmenttrust.com. Sam, if you didn't get, you should have got an auto redirected email stating here's where you go to set up your portal to go ahead and verify your AML, KYC, and accreditation. If you have not received that yet, Sam, will you reach out to me personally? You can reach me at The Real Kinetics on Telegram, The Real KNTX on Telegram. I would love to. I'll make sure it gets put in the appropriate channels, definitely, because we're doing. It's amazing the interest that we're getting, and we really need to get this public so that everyone in public finance can start aping into this, so to speak. So
we are creating the
so we can lock up some more hex.
Well,
it's the beginning of the end, right? When it comes down to like different avenues. Go ahead, Wells.
So if you're not, it looks like you're not. If you're not in Telegram, maybe you can tweet at me, or what social media are you on? Because I would love to just reach out to you just for a quick sec, just for a one touch, so I can get that going. Maybe fill out the form again one more time, if that's the only option that we have. But
email info at hexinvestmenttrust.com.
Yeah,
email
info at hexinvestmenttrust.com. Yep, that's right. So we'll make sure. I'm not sure why that didn't auto respond with a way for you to set up the portal and go through the accreditation and the AML KYC process, but we can help streamline that.
Yeah, we'll rectify that. It's not that big.
Yeah, that's not an issue.
We just needed to know. If you don't hear from us, definitely reach out and let us know, because technology is infallible. It's not perfect. So please be mindful of that, and do not think if it takes longer than a week to hear back, then you should let us know.
Yeah. You guys must all be flooding that website right this moment, because usually this thing is top notch. So we've got Daniel Hilarski from Hiller Tech. He's Randy Hilarski's brother. He is an amazing guy. He put that site up in like a day, and he beefed up everything on that. So there must be a lot of people pinging that website right now. So because he is amazing at his website builds, and so if that's the case, it's probably because we just mentioned it and everybody's trying to get on right now at the same time. But Lewis III, we will look into that, scaling the proxies and the web servers, because it's not usually an issue. I appreciate you, brother, for letting us know about that, though. We love feedback. It helps us get better.
Just to rope back into something you guys said before, because I thought it was accurate, but like I haven't dipped my toe into all this stuff yet. If you take your 401k and then make yourself a self-directed, I know that technically my account says I'm accredited. Does that work once you make your own LLC to actually run your own?
You're accredited based on your income and or net worth.
Or net worth.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, that was right there.
And so yes, Falcon Crypto, if you've got a CPA that can show the paper trail and can show on the ETH scan that you have stakes that are valued over $1 million, absolutely. So we have a firm that can confirm that for you for accreditation. Yep.
Yeah, that's their job. That's why we hired them. That's part of the process. This is how we can ensure a successful public launch. And that's what it's about. It's about being able to give people an avenue to experience crypto returns, even if they can't hold their own keys. Because for some people, it is just too much. And they don't even know crypto exists. And this might be a way for them to hear about it. And not just Hex, right? Because it's about cryptocurrency as a thing. And this is the thing that we need to make sure that we start promoting all together, right? Because Hex is cryptocurrency. Everything else is not.
Yeah.
But out there, outside of our so-called echo chamber, they hear the term cryptocurrency NFT. So we have to find a way to interject ourselves into that conversation. Right?
I think the best thing that I love about when you and Jay talk about how an ETF is literally an arrow to the knee to a market. Everyone, like back in I do have to take that call, but I don't want to be like Kniffles to be like, I'm streaming, you know, you ain't watching the but like, I didn't realize how much, because I used to be in Crypto J's Discord way back in the day, and we were all like, yay, ETF, and then top of the fucking hat, complete crash, all the rest of that, because you didn't know any better. And most people don't know better because they haven't been taught correctly on what things are. And when you have real investment funds doing real things, it's different than throwing around buzzwords like blockchain, metaverse, ETF, any of the rest of the nonsense that nobody knows anything about. So
buzzwords there.
We actually just created a company called Blockchain NFT Cryptocurrency, Pixelverse, Facebook Meta.
And all the marks.
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
It's all one word. It's all one word.
It's going to be the best SEO ever. Just make sure there's hyphens in between all of them. The SEO is included, just in the word.
Yeah.
All right, that's my right.
There you go.
Oh man, too funny. But yeah, man. You know, it's time to continue building. It's time to be strategic and always think about effective moves because we got nothing but time.
Gov.
Hilarious. Coming soon.
I got to take off, guys. It was awesome.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I just want to say one thing to you, Craig, before you take off. I really appreciate you. You're awesome. Thank you so much for coming in.